Okay. Again, last night about 7:18 is when we first got the calls for an explosion on a rig out in Jefferson Parish waters outside of the city of Kenner, about 1.5 miles away. Obviously, search and rescue was conducted throughout the night. To discuss all of those events, our sheriff, all of this took place in Jefferson Parish waters, so Sheriff Joe Lopinto is here to go over what happened in the event overnight after people were transported. We're also going to have the director of ambulances and first response from East Jefferson General Hospital who give a brief on those people that were transported. Sheriff Lopinto.
Thank you. So the Sheriff's Office has been coordinating throughout the entire night with all of our responding agencies. Coast Guard has done a search for the last missing victim that we have out there. The critical stages of all the victims have been transported to the hospital, all varied. We have been able to board the rig just this morning. There is about a 2-inch valve pipe, natural gas pipe, that is still burning off residual gas. It is not a live feed. It's very low pressure that is coming from that. It does not appear to be any environmental concern at this point in time. Obviously, we have those different agencies that will monitor that. The contractor from the owner of the rigs are out here in order to place booms when the waves allow. Right now, we currently are seeing about 4 to 5 foot rollers in the lake, but we've been able to coordinate with our safe boats at the Sheriff's Office to get the appropriate contractors out there to the rig. Who do we have next?
Yeah, we're going to have East Bank Consolidated Fire Chief Dave Tibbetts. He handles fire suppression for the East Bank Consolidated. He has worked in conjunction with the state on suppression of the rig, and I'm going to let him take it from here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning. We had some resources came in last night from the river, the General Kelly's, a fire boat. We had that resource here at the dock. We were not in the need of it. We didn't need it. When the sheriff and I went out this morning, along with his crew and staff, we did make entry onto the rig and found, as he said, a gas line. That gas line has been shut off. It's from quite a distance, so it's going to burn itself out, and that's doing what we wanted to do at this point. So we feel confident from the firefighter aspect that we have control of this situation at the present time.
And of course, also helping with search and rescue and telling us that no visible oil sheen has been seen at this point because it was a natural gas burn. We have Commander Ford from the U.S. Coast Guard. We have a Coast Guard base station right here in Lake Pontchartrain. Commander.
Yes, to date we've covered 30 square miles of area with our helo from Air Station New Orleans, along with our 45 response boat and 29 response boat, small from Station New Orleans. It's an ongoing search effort. It's been a coordinated effort with our state and local partners, and we'll continue out through the day. We do have deteriorating search conditions, as the sheriff mentioned. We will reassess things as we move out through the morning. Thank you.
Our Emergency Management Director, Mr. Joe Valiente, has been coordinating this with all of the emergency response agencies. Joe?
All right. Currently, everything's moving smoothly. We set up a unified command early on with the situation. Kenner reacted quickly with the police and the emergency management, and they were able to push out all the necessary notices so that we can make our notices and get things rolling as it related to addressing the fire and the search and rescue mission. So Sheriff Lopinto and Chief Tibbetts are going to be the leads on this as far as incident commanders, and everything seems to be going well.
And because this was 1.5 miles away from the city of Kenner, some Kenner residents did feel a sonic boom. I'm going to let Mayor Zahn discuss that.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have been out there. Kenner Fire Department's been out throughout the neighborhoods. Gabriel is the next subdivision over, Chateau Lakefront, and then we go into Wood Lake. They were out there last night. We'll be out there again today. We have no reports of anything, no factual reports. We had some very, very minor, one report of maybe some pebbles hitting a home. I don't know anything about how far that goes, but I'm telling you that no structural damage, no Kenner residents at any kind of harm at this point. We will continue to do that again in those neighborhoods throughout the city. We have it set up with the phone line, obviously, to our EOC to get any kind of reports, and we will let you know if anything goes from there. But I feel really confident right now we're in good shape in the city of Kenner.
Okay, at this point, I think we have everybody here to take any questions. We do have Mr. Morty Chavert from the state. The state also assisted in helping us with the large fire boat that's in the harbor right now. Obviously, that boat was not used at this point, but it was standing by in case it was needed. So we'll be happy to take any questions.
President Yanni, what about the victims? You were searching for someone?
I'm glad you asked that. Forgot Mike Gilliat, the Director of Emergency Management at East Jefferson General Hospital.
Good morning.
Last night we transported 7 patients total. 5 patients went to our Level 1 Trauma Center, University. 2 patients went to East Jefferson General. This morning, an update is the 2 patients at East Jefferson were discharged during the night. From the Trauma Center, they moved 2 patients to the Burn Center in critical condition. They have 1 patient currently in ICU in critical condition, and the other 2 patients at the Trauma Center were discharged.
And what about the person you were looking for?
The Sheriff's Office is continuing search and rescue, and I refer that to Sheriff Lopatino.
Can you elaborate on the injuries a little bit more? Was it mainly burns or?
2 of the patients in critical condition were burn patients and from blast injuries, from the initial explosion.
And Sheriff,
Baton Rouge to the burn center there?
Yes, correct.
and Sheriff, I know that there was some confusion if there was an 8th person. Are you for sure that there is an 8th person you're looking for?
We are fairly confident there is an 8th person. The Coast Guard has made contact with that person's family already, so they are notified that we have a current search and rescue mission going.
What else can you tell us about that 8th person?
I don't know what part of their family has been notified or not notified at this point. We have got out. They know that we have a search and rescue mission. This is obviously early, and their family needs some time to grieve, and hopefully we'll be able to find them.
Are you using a helicopter or boat?
Materials that
We,
were...
I'll answer this.
Okay.
From a helicopter, we had our helicopter with Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Coast Guard helicopter, and boats doing search pattern grids.
What can you tell us? Is this a rig and a platform? Is it the rig or the platform?
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We had heard some initial reports that cleaning materials might have been involved in this explosion. Is there any truth to that, or were those just rumors?
At this point, it's all under investigation. The only person that's been on the rig right now is myself and the fire chief and the fire investigator, just for a preliminary look to see what has to be assessed, right? Those investigators will get on there later on, hopefully this afternoon, and start figuring out what happened.
Can you describe the scene on the rig?
Obviously it was a large fire that burnt a whole bunch of metal and charred it, and but it's a rig. It doesn't look pretty up there, but there's parts of the rig that are completely intact, and others that have been charred because of the fire.
How did the victims get to shore? Were they plucked out of the water? Or did they...
There was I'll let the Coast Guard, tell you exactly.
Some were plucked from the water. There was a boat that was actually on scene with them, and then it was a coordinated effort to get them onto shore, and then working with Kenner PD, and then they took them to the facilities nearby.
Did any of them make it on shore on their own?
I do not have that information.
Yeah, I believe we had 8 initial victims last night. Whether there was 8 on the rig, because there was a supply boat that was there also with some additional people on it. So I don't know exactly how many were on the rig, but we were counted for 8 people that either were injured because of the fire, whether they were on the supply boat or not. And I believe there were some people that were not injured at all on the supply boat.
And this was an active production rig, or was it a storage?
I believe it was an active rig that feeds. It's a storage rig. It's a storage rig that feeds from other active rigs within the area.
Does it drill for oil?
It's the natural gas.
And how long will you guys be?
They are on scene. A representative of them on scene coordinating the contractors in order to make sure that they're. I'm sorry.
Who is the rig owner?
I don't know the rig owner. Yeah.
And how long will you guys be searching for that missing person?
As long as it takes.
Can you say anything about the victims? Are they locals? Are they from Kenner? Do we know where they're from?
I don't know where they're all from. I know some were from out of town, some were local. So they're from all over the place. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we still have an active investigation. We still have an active fire that's out there. And more importantly, we have an active search and rescue mission. I'm happy to update y'all later on today. I think let's plan on another press conference at 4, and if something else comes, we'll put something together earlier. We'll let you know.
And quick question, how long do you think that fire is going to burn out there?
It's very low pressure right now. But those things can burn for a long period of time. But that's not going to, stop being for us to be able to assess it at this point. We were able to bore the rig. It is burning at a very low pressure, so it just takes time for it to come out of the pipe.
And where do you guys go from here?
Well, we're going to be here for a long period of time. We got to make sure that the contractors can get out there. The Sheriff's Office is lucky, in which we have some of the boats that we need to get them out. So we're gonna keep on coordinating with them to get whatever services they need.
Can you talk about the impact of the weather on that search? Like, what are the considerations?
Hey, I mean, the weather is inhibiting it because we have 4 and 5 foot seas out there. But between the Sheriff's Office and the Coast Guard, we have the tools in place to get done what we need to be done, right? I mean, do we have 20 boats out there? No, but we don't need 20 boats out there either. We have the tools in place in order to take care of it no matter what the conditions are.
Sheriff, can you talk, we heard that there was a Good Samaritan that helped with one of the rescues. Can you talk about that?
Well, every one of our first responders and every person out there is a good Samaritan. I don't know the specifics about that, but we had 8 civilians that are on that vessel along with the people that were on that barge, and there may have been other people out there on boats. We thank them all for their service.
The rigs, are there other rigs surrounding this rig, and if so, have people been evacuated? Are they still on there?
No, there's no other concerns in any other place.
So from what you're saying, 7 people were injured and 8th person is still missing, but there were additional people out there during the time of the blast?
From what I understand, yes.
And the good news is we've had a great joint response. All of our neighboring parishes from the river parishes came in and assisted with us last night. They even had a suppression boat from St. Charles Parish that was out there. So we want to thank all of those people that certainly helped us to be able to suppress this as quickly as possible. And of course, our hearts and minds go out to the families and to those people, the victims still suffering right now. And we certainly hope that this search ends pretty soon. So thank you so much. And we'll have another briefing hopefully later this afternoon, like the Sheriff said, around 4 o'clock. Thank you, Sheriff.